right, everybody. How y'all doing tonight, guys? We got a great show lined up for you guys. Really been excited about getting this show going. I know it's been a lot of controversy going on, and me and James have got a lot to talk about tonight with it. I know some people are kind of frustrated with a few things going on, and we're just gonna try to talk about these things, get them all out on the table, guys. We got a live chat. So, voice your opinion there. James is going to be trying to monitor the chat box, the chat room, whatever, for the YouTube channel. But look, guys, I've been working on trying to get Skype going so we can start getting James on, but I still haven't got that right. But look here. Boom, we got him in picture. There's James. James, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, good. How you doing?
Oh, man, doing good. I've been really excited about this show tonight. I know, you've been doing a lot of talking, and it seems like every time we talk, it's something else new coming up to talk about for the show. So let me go through, check a couple of things. We still got some guys coming on. I just want to bear with me for 1 second, guys. I'm just trying to check, make sure all our streaming's good. All right, we got good streaming. So let's see here. All right. Anyways, so first off, I want to just tell everybody we got our thoughts and prayers going out with everybody that was in the path of Hurricane Florence. There's a pile load of flooding going on in North Carolina, South Carolina. The rivers here in Virginia are starting to come up. I think it was a new river and possibly the Shenandoah. I know the James River is looking at coming up, but I don't think it's going to get real bad. But the new river wasn't looking real good. So our thoughts and prayers go out with you guys, all the first responders, National Guards, everybody that's come in to help everyone. We appreciate it. And, I know just with my work, trying to get generators and stuff like that down there, I see all the hustling going on to get this stuff down there. And, like I said, just everybody is putting in their time to help these people. It's awesome. So, thank you guys for everything you do there. So, but first off, want to talk about, they had the Bassmasters Open on Douglas Lake. Octafo, repeat winner. I know last year there was some controversy on how he won that. Some of the pros actually made a big stink about it because they were using not really a jet drive boat, but they were, what do you call them boats, James? They were, oh, shoot. I don't know. You don't really call it a jet drive boat, but I can't remember what they call it. It looked like it had double jack plates on it, so they could run way up the river in the shallow water. I cannot think of the daggone name of the boat. But anyways,
I can't either.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
Tunnel hole boat?
Yeah, tunnel hole. I think that's what it was. It was a tunnel hole boat. But also a big congratulations to Jeff Luger, old Virginia boy. He ended up finishing 12th in that Open, so congratulations to you, Jeff. We've had him on the show a couple times, and he's always a really good guy to have on. He gives lots of information, especially you're going to go to Lake Anna for the kayak bass fishing tournament. There is some information. I think he talked about Lake Anna on there. I can't remember, to be quite honest with you. But so anyways, it's congratulations to him. So let's go ahead, and I want to kind of get into the details of what we're going to be talking about tonight. I was going to do a drop shot, shaky head kind of segment tonight, and we just got so much to talk about with the controversy going on in kayak bass fishing. Some say it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, really. I mean, if you think about it, it's just people's opinions. Some people are butthurt, over a few things. And something I've learned, and me and James have learned, and with doing business and running tournaments, is you're not going to make everybody happy. It doesn't happen that way. And if you make this group happy, the other group's not happy. So bass fishermen can be whiny. It's just how it is. We're like a bunch of girls sometimes. And I try to stay away. Me and James both try to stay away from that controversy stuff, let it blow over. But it seemed like so much built up on the kayak bass fishing forum and some other forums. So we're just going to talk about it. So, first let's kind of talk about the Dave Lefebre thing. So they had the kayak bass fishing tournament on Lake Erie, which is Dave Lefebvre's home body of water. And a lot of people were really pissed off that Dave Lefebre won that and saying that pros shouldn't be allowed into these events. The way I see it, James, correct me if I'm wrong, that event is kind of like a big event for the kayak bass fishing. It's not national championship, But if you look at it, that's kind of the tour for kayak fishing, you know? So,
Well, I would say it's just like the Bassmaster Open. All the pros can fish those. So, in my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with it at all.
no. I think it's great for the sport, and let me tell you why. For one, Bassmasters is looking at this now. I guarantee you there will be articles on Bassmasters' website about this tournament. So Bassmasters is going to be looking at that, and that's going to give the kayak bass fishing tournament series another look at of other people that really ain't probably paid much mind to kayak tournaments. So that's one thing. There's your exposure right there. For two, guys that are fishing those that are traveling to those bigger events are putting their time and money in as well, just like Dave Lefebre did. But you kind of look at it. You got to look at it two ways. You got Bassmasters and you got FLW tours and all this. So this event, in my eyes, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, is kind of like the tour event. You know, this is you're fishing these big events. It's big money. It's $10,000. And we've all seen big money brings big players. You know, I mean, people putting up the money to do this stuff. So there's a lot on the line when there's that kind of big money. So to me, this is kind of like the tour. So you want the best that you can. You want the good guys on this tour. And to be able to fish against them, I think me and you both have talked about it. You got to fish against good guys to get better. Some say no, you don't, but we know just fishing some of like club events. When me and you were and Dad and all them running club events, I'm not knocking none of the guys in the club event because there's all great guys, but they didn't put in the time like we did because we fished other events all the time just besides the club stuff. So we was always on the water. We won a lot. We did really well. But then when you compared us to other guys that was out there fishing, you know, some of the open tournaments we fished, we didn't do as well. We can compete with them, but we still didn't do as well. But the more you competed, then you tried harder because then you realized, okay, I need more than just 9 or 10 pounds to win this event. I'm going to need 15, 16, 17 pounds to win this event. Same thing here, because I don't want to get too far off rambling away and making this show like a big ramble fest. But this is the same thing is you fish against guys like that, you know he's going to bring it, and you got to bring it. So you're going to fish your butt off, and you're going to kind of go out your comfort zone to try to catch in bigger fish. I mean, what do you think, James?
To me, I would love to be in their shoes and be able to fish a competition against Elite Series Pro just to see how you even add up. I mean, like when we used to fish the federations, the six-mans and stuff like that, when Jeff Luger was fishing those and we were fishing against them, and then you fish some of the BFLs and you're fishing against people that are well-known people in that community. When you go out there, that's your goal, is to beat those guys, and it makes you a better fisherman. And like we've talked about before about people paying for different things. I mean, when you go into a tournament, you need to feel like you are going to win. Yeah. That's the goal. If you go in there fishing for just second, then you're not going to pay certain things and, you know, side pots and all that other stuff. I mean, that's a whole different thing. But if you're not paying that kind of stuff, to me, you're not fishing for first at that point.
No.
You know,
well,
and
it's like you say, sorry to cut you off, but when you start talking about, oh man, for here, all right, and James, you know, for here, like when you put in a tournament, you let's say an early spring tournament, you put in, you're like, oh crap, Reynolds guys here, man, shoot. Well, I guess we're fishing for second. You've already lost. Your mindset is in it that you're not going to go out and try to catch big fish. You're just going to kind of try to go out and make it. You know, it's like you said, if you've already lost the tournament before you left the ramp, when you start getting thoughts like that. So
exactly, that's exactly the way it is.
And we all know fishing's a confidence thing. It's a mindset thing. So now, I don't know how true it is, and any of you guys that are listening, we got a good amount of listeners right now, a good amount of viewers, especially compared to last week. But I don't know how y'all feel about it, but and maybe y'all can inform me in it. Now, granted, from what I understand, is he practicing a bass boat. Now, I know you can only go 2 miles out. I know a lot of people butthurt about that, and I do get it, especially if you don't own a bass boat and all you got's a kayak and you got this guy practicing in a bass boat. I get it, but there's nothing in the rules that says you can't do it. So, I mean, if I was fishing that event and I still had my bass boat, yes, I'm probably going to strap my kayak on my bass boat, and I'm going to go up there in my bass boat, and I'm going to run as many piles or rock piles or whatever I can to find them, because you can't cover all that water in a kayak. So if the rule isn't there saying you can't, then we're going to – I'm going to do it. I would do it, So we talked about this earlier. Now, should there be a rule for it? Maybe. I think maybe you would kind of get over a lot of this controversy, and you would put definitely everybody on a playing field when it comes to practice and when it comes to fishing and all that. So, but another thing to look at too is if you start doing that, then you probably need to start cutting your practice time down. So maybe you only have, like the pros do, you only have 3 days of practice for those events, not for other events, but for those events, because then you're kind of like, okay, well, yeah, that man had a bass boat and he was able to cover a lot of water. But this guy over here, he's been practicing for 2 weeks. He's been up here fishing for 2 weeks because, either his wife's got a good job or he's fully sponsored and all that. And so he's able to practice for 2 weeks. So then you're going to have people crying about that. So we're back to the same game where thing we're talking about, you're not going to make everybody happy. So shouldn't be allowed to be pre-fish on a boat. In my opinion, you're right.
Yeah.
Set the hook he's talking about. It's a kayak competition. You shouldn't be allowed to pre-fish in a boat, in your opinion. And you're right. But the rule's not there. You look on the Elite Tour side. There for a while, some of these pros were taking airplanes and flying over the bodies of water that they were fishing to find these backwater bayous and stuff, and they cut that out. So there's always going to be somebody that's going to push that limit until that rule's made. And a lot of rules that are in the Elite Series are because of certain pros that done certain things. So, I mean, what's your take on that side, James? I don't want to go too much further with that, but what's your take on that?
Well, I mean, if you're going to be fishing a competition that does have a purse for $10,000, I mean, that's big money in the kayak series. I mean, that's big money in any tournament that you go fish. So in my opinion, if there isn't a rule for it, then there probably will be now.
Oh, yeah.
But like you said, you got to push the rules to the limit, and that's when rules are made. But the Elite Series also and stuff like that, you can't fish that body of water for 30 days prior to the event either. I think that's the way it is anyway.
Yeah.
And then you only have your practice days for that. So you'd have to practice beforehand. But still, if you go out there 30 days beforehand, you can still be in your bass boat.
Yeah.
And then you would pre-fish in your kayak. So you would still learn the spots. I mean, it's going to be hard to, push that rule. It's going to have to be lie detector test and everything in there to make sure. But I mean, that's his home body of water, so he's always fished it out of a bass boat.
Yeah.
So he was probably just checking spots. I don't know. But there will probably be a rule if too big a stink is brought up about it.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. I'm sure next year there will be some rules made because of Dave Lefebre. Speaking of Dave Lefebre, we talked to him this morning. We are looking at doing another show tomorrow, just like this, YouTube Live and Blog Talk, and plan on having Dave Lefebre on. He can talk about his tournament, how he practiced, all that. So if y'all got any questions for Dave Lefebre, I'm still talking with him. He was ready to come on tomorrow night, same time, 9 o'clock. but sometimes things change with these pros. So everything will be set in stone tomorrow. So if you see the advertisement for it, please share it, and then y'all can get on here and have any questions for them. James will be monitoring that, and we'll try to get everybody's questions asked on that. So I mean, is there anything else we really need to cover on that? I wrote a little note: should pros fish these events? My opinion, yes. James, your opinion, yes. So I think we kind of know where we need to go on that.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, let's kind of go over the. I mean, does anybody else that's listening right now? Y'all got anything with this? I know we got several guys on here listening right now. Do y'all want us to cover any more with it? Because I mean, I really don't have much more to say about it. We've kind of stated our opinion, and like I say, I'm a true believer in letting pros fish. I would love to have a chance at fishing against any of them. So, anyways,
I might would have went if I knew he was going to fish the tournament.
True, it's very true.
Because,
yeah,
it might have made me fish the event.
Exactly, and I think you'll get more. I think you'll get more people fishing these events if some of these pros are coming in. Mike Iaconelli, say he's coming in. Mike Iaconelli has always been one of my favorite fishermen growing up, and if he was fishing, I want to go there. I want to try to kick Mike Iaconelli's butt. It's just the money thing ain't a big deal. You just want to go in and try to kick your butt. If you don't, you're like, man, I tried. I gave it all I had, but a lot of people want to make it to that top level, but they don't want to fish against the good guys to try to make it that top level. So I think stuff like that is a good thing. I think it's good for sport. Let's just kind of leave it there. So,
but you want to
go ahead.
Yeah, you want to see how you stack up against a pro like that fishes all the time. See kind of where you are.
Yeah.
And especially on this home body of water. I mean, I don't think anybody should be upset at all that Dave Lefebre won. Because anybody who placed in the top up there, they done a very good job of even being close.
Yeah.
To the,
And that's a hard body. I mean, I've never fished it, but just kind of looking at Casey Reed, he went up there and fished it. And I don't know where he finished at, but just seeing some of his videos, kind of going through the waves and stuff, I mean, that's just different. It's just different fishing. You got to kind of understand it, and them guys up there that finished well, congratulations, you guys, because like I say, you can only go 2 miles out. Dave Lefebre was wishing they could go out further because he said if he could go 6 miles out, he would have hammered them. But
yeah,
you know what I mean. So I mean, that just kind of shows you what kind of body of water that is. I mean, 2 miles out, that's a long ways off the bank. That's a good distance off. Me and James paddled 3 miles up a river. I couldn't imagine paddling 2 miles out. Like, I guess you could still maybe see the shore 2 miles out. I don't know, but I think it'd be kind of uneasy feeling. So, anyways, let's kind of get off that a little bit. Go ahead. What was that?
I wouldn't want to be on that body of water 3 or 4 miles out in a kayak.
Heck no, dude, things change fast on that. I mean, you watch your pros when they go up there. It changes fast. Storm come across that body of water quickly. You ain't going to out-paddle it. I can tell you that. Some of the bass boats barely outrun it.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's kind of go talk. I want to talk a little bit before we get on to our next subject of a product that we've been testing out. James, I know you haven't had a lot of practice. They only sent us one. But I've been able to use it in the river. I used it on Chickahominy River and the James River, trying it on the smallmouth, largemouth, 18-inch plus. Well, I'll say plus. I called it 18, 3/4, so, or 18 1/4, so 18 plus, largemouth. And so far, it's been holding up. Now, these are one of our sponsors, Accu, and they're trying to get into more of the kayak side with like fish, kind of like the fish grips, and I can't remember what the other name of. What's the ones you use, James? Sometimes, like for your muskies.
Oh,
the BOGO grip or something. What is that one? Kind of like a BOGO grip.
It's a Bass Pro Shop. it's kind of like a booger grip, but it's just a Bass Pro Shops brand.
Yeah. So, but there's several different brands out there, and the bad thing about the fish grips, and James, you've had some issues with it, losing fish. I've come close. I've seen it. I've come really close, and I was able to grab a hold to it real quick before a bad catastrophe happened. So we've been testing this product for a little bit. Let me go over to this camera. There we go. Right here. So if this looks familiar right here, look, I ain't even transferred over. Sorry, guys. Hold on. All right. So this right here is just like it goes on their Cull tag system. I've talked about it on several shows, me and James both, about how Bass and FLW has gone through the punctureless Cull system. So this right here has got a steel cable. It's actually locked right now, so you can unlock it. Whoops, I'm locking it. Sorry. And it comes out. It's retractable. I'm trying to show you guys here and get it in the camera right. And I'm looking kind of retarded here, but anyways, it's retractable, and it retracts out a good distance. So what I was doing is I was retracting it out, and then I was locking it and letting the fish kind of swim everywhere. But the cool part about it is this thing locks. So, and that grips down on the fish's mouth really good, especially bigger smallmouth, all that. They kind of got that thick bone. This right here does a really good job. You can just clip it right on. You don't have no problems with it coming off. I mean, look at that. And these stay in a fish's mouth all day long in a live well, doing culling and all that stuff. So this is what he's working on. It's got a nice little clip right here that goes, you can clip it anywhere on your kayak. I actually clip it onto the string that holds one of my paddle clip on the other side. And that's what I've been using right now. I've been, using a fish grip some, but then I'll put a fish on this and just let them kind of sit there for a little while, trying it out. And so far, it has done well. Fish have jumped. Fish have run into the boat, done everything. And so far, this is a thick rope, thick rope. I don't have no big complaints about it. I almost wonder if they could maybe go with something more of I don't know yet, a cable. But I don't know how that would do with it, retrieving back in and then rusting inside. So far right now, I've been really happy with this. It's not on the market yet. Keep your eyes out. It's from Accu. Go check them out at accucull.com. They got some other great things for helping with culling systems, especially if you're in a big tournament, bass boat fishing tournaments, and you are having to keep your fishing alive well and all that. So great system. They also got some good scales. They've been changing their scales around a little bit too, with the spring inside to keep it from rusting and stuff like that. So go check them out, accucull.com. You won't be disappointed. I've liked everything they've sent us so far. Okay. All right. Well, let's kind of go ahead and get into the KBF. This is just, James, you can touch base on this anytime you want to jump in. I want to kind of start it off. And this is just fruit for thought, guys. So don't think I'm bashing the KBF. I'm not. 100%. Chad Hoover, all them guys, you do a heck of a job running this tournament series. And so far, me and James have loved it. It's been a little confusing for new guys coming in trying to figure out what everything is. You'd have to read nonstop on the KBF stuff to try to figure out. Some people are helpful, some people ain't. We're still trying to figure out what all the points do. I know the top 10 go to the fish off thing in Florida. The top, was it the 300, James, go to, don't they go to some kind of tournament? Is that something you read one time?
I think it's that, or it's the top 100.
Maybe it's the top 100.
Something
Okay.
like that.
So they go
It might be the top 300.
Yeah, so they go to an event, and from what I understand, they're only going to take 500 to the KBF National Championship. All that is, I get it. And guys, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. James, let me know if anybody's correcting me on there or has anybody got anything to say right now? I haven't really looked at it too much.
It doesn't have anything as of right now.
I got you. So, anyways, back to the KBF stuff. This is my deal, and I've heard Chad Hoover talk about it. They want the best of the best to fish a national championship, as it should be. End at the bend. Is that what he's talking? James, is he talking about the The 300, I guess, is what it is.
And at the bend.
Yeah.
That must be it.
So they went the best of the best to fish this series. So let's kind of go back and look. Now, look, me and James have come from bass boat tournaments. We've done it all our life. Kayaking's new to us. The whole format of kayak fishing is new to us, and we're still learning. This is just some fruit for thought for guys to think about. I know it'll probably never change, but this is my opinion. If you want the best of the best, it should be a harder process to qualify for national championship. Now, that being said, I have not qualified for the national championship yet. James has. He's done it through the month-long event and placed third in that and qualified for the national championship. This is my beef with it. James, you fished multiple month-long events trying to do this. The problem I have with it is you got one guy that fishes one event and makes a national championship. Say that's just his time of the month. He's really good that time of the month, or he happens to have a week off vacation, goes out and fishes, and is able to fish a week straight, catches them, and that's the only event he fishes the rest of the year. That's kind of where I have the problem at right there, is guys that just fish one event and they qualify. I think anything that you do to make a national championship should be throughout a points series. Then it goes to a national championship. Now, another thing I have a problem with is the roll down process. I understand on a one-night stand, the month-long events, stuff like that. I get that, because that's a lot to keep up with, having to roll down stuff like that. But the problem is, okay, now you got it to where you got, let's say, a month-long event. Let's say we have 5 or 6 month-long events in the state of Virginia. You got a guy that, man, he's just, the way his life is set up, it's set up perfect. He ain't got kids, whatever, he can fish every day. And he goes and catches big fish, and he's always first or second. And that's great for the guy. I'm not knocking that guy because he's putting his time in. But it's really tough for the guys that don't have that kind of time to put in. And since they don't roll down a spot, that guy is taking a spot every single time and is taking a chance of other guys to make it. So my opinion is, I think it ought to be a points thing. So if you're going to do month standings, it ought to be a points thing. The top 5 out of the month go. And that way it kind of gives these guys, okay, you got to at least fish 3 or 4 events to do it, to have a chance. Not just one event. Oh, man, I made it. I ain't got to fish nothing else the rest of the year. Because, for one, that's going to bring more money into the KBF, because you got to have it, guys. They're going to want to fish it because they want to make it. And you're going to have a set of guys that are dedicated that are going to be fishing this all the time. So, this is kind of what I'm saying. You got the Elite Series, you got the Open Series, and you got the Federation. That's how I think this needs to be set up. And you can only pick one series, so you figure like the state challenges, that's kind of like your Federation. And then you go to your Open Series, which is a little bit bigger events. They travel around. Maybe it's kind of like how the Open Series does it, the Northern, the Central, and the Southern. So that you could pick that series to fish, and you have to just fish that, And then you got to like your Tour Series. And your Tour Series can fish the other Open Series, and the Open Series can fish Tour Series, whatever. But the Federation still got its own deal, its own entity, the state challenges. That way the guys that can't travel all the time, because what it is, it's a whole point system, right, James? So, I mean, you get points for fishing state challenges. You get points for fishing one-night stands. You get points for traveling. Some of these guys just can't do it. And I think it's just kind of I think it's a crappy situation when it comes down to it, that there's guys that fish this that know that they'll never make the top 10 ever, just because their schedule doesn't allow it, I mean, what's your take on that, James? I've been mumbling on about it, but what's your kind of take on it? Do you think it ought to be kind of broke down a little different than what it is?
I mean, I think it would be great to be broke down a little bit, something that's working. The KBF is awfully young still, and they're going to learn a lot as they keep going on. But the KBF and the TBF, they pretty much do the same thing for the Federation anglers. And I think that you'll probably see this format maybe go towards that, maybe in the future. But right now, like Set the Hook, he commented and said the month-long challenge is you're competing against lakes rather than anglers. And that is absolutely true.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, I mean, because we know that's true.
Yeah.
People come around and you have to fish the lakes that's producing in the state.
Yeah.
To be competitive. And I mean, not saying that you still have to catch the fish, but if you're seeing big numbers and big fish coming from the same lake, all it does is put tons of pressure on one certain lake. So, but if you don't have time to go to that lake, or it's 2 or 3 hours away to be able to fish those lakes, it is going to eventually those lakes are going to stop producing, and then you'll see big numbers come from another lake, and everybody will travel towards that lake. It's almost like fishing spots.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of rambling on about something different, but
you're right. I mean, it's what somebody brought up, and you're right. I mean, that's kind of what it is. You hope that you got that good body of water near you, and then you hope you got the time. Like for me, and I don't want nobody thinking I'm whining about this whole series, because I think it's a great series, and I think it's still got a long ways to go. But I think it's a good thing that it gets more and more people in the water with a lot. You don't have to pay all this money. It's just, I think the whole point system as a whole, is not right. Because if you think about it the way we got it right now, if, let's say the Federation opens in elites. I keep going back to that. There's a reason. Well, let's say that the only way you can make the elites is if you finished in the whole United States in the top 100. Well, you're going to have guys trying to fish a Federation to make it. If this was all points combined, well, the elite guys are always, they're going to be traveling, so they're going to be fishing all the time, so they're going to be getting their points, Then you got guys fishing opens that have a good chance of trying to make the elites. But they're going to have to fish opens and the Federation to keep getting those points built up, because the guys in the opens, in the tour, is going to get more points. And I think that's how it is, too. When you go to fish these big events, you get more points in those than you would, fishing a challenge series or whatever. I'm not really sure on this. So, guys, don't take this to heart, what we're talking about. It's just ideas that we've come up with that we thought would be a good idea if it went to that. And it's still a lot to be worked out. But I just think in a whole that the point system needs to be changed a little bit to where you have a pro series, an open series, and kind of like a Federation, a grassroots series. That's all. Like the month longs and the state challenges, that's kind of like the grassroots series to me. And it's fun to fish and all that, but vacation wise, if you fish all these events, I don't even know how people have vacation to fish all these events. When it comes to fishing national championship, you spend a week down there, so that starts your year off right there. Then they travel to all these other events, and you got these events to fish, and then you got month-long events that you're just trying to put your time in, and then you have one-night stands, which you don't need vacation for all of them, but it's still the whole point of we'll be fishing almost every weekend if you tried to fish everything to make good points, So.
Oh yeah, in my opinion, there's some that are fishing these things like pros right now, that travel to every event and being able to do this stuff, and those should be the tour level pros.
Yeah.
As of right now, and if you can fish all that stuff, then fishing a month long challenge maybe you shouldn't be able to fish those. Maybe that's the anglers that shouldn't be able to fish those.
Yeah, if you're fishing a tour series, you can fish the opens and you can fish their, what do they call it? They got the open and then hold on a minute. Sorry about that. They got like the open and then they got something else where it's like the one day Lefebre just won. So I guess the opens you can win like a couple $1,000, $1,700, and then that one that they won it was like $10,000. So
yeah,
and that way you have different levels of trying to qualify for the national championship instead of saying this one guy fished one event and he made it. And it's not, I'm not knocking nobody that did that. Congratulations if you did that and you made it, because the month-long events are hard. It's hard to catch that many big fish.
well, and it goes back to the same thing with Dave Lefebre. If the rule is you fish one, you get in for now. Yeah. And like I think eventually like there's going to be changes. I mean, there's growth. I mean, and they've changed it up because 700 some went last year to the KBF National Championship, and they're going to take 500 this year. So they've already trying to cut the field down. This is another topic that we wanted to go into, but on the Elite Series and the FLW Series, they're cutting their fields down, and we're going to talk about that. So they're already thinning their stuff back too.
Yeah.
Because of another tournament series, it seems to me that's why they're cutting back, in my opinion. But
gotcha. I'm trying to cut the volume up on the audio here. Some people saying they're having a hard time hearing you, but I can hear you good. So I don't know if it's trying to get it straight for you, Kathy. Hopefully it'll get better here in just a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully it is better now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been able to hear you fine. Hopefully everybody else has. But yeah, and I'm reading something here from Set the Hook. He was talking about, it was mentioned before by Chad that the ultimate goal is to have KBF partners do their own trail events. They will qualify to compete in the regional championship. The winners of the regionals would fish the national championship. I like that. That right there is what needs to happen. That's like the federation kind of deal, somewhat. And so I think that's where it needs to go. Like next year, through the winter, and a lot of that planning, that's where it needs to go. And it needs to be a little more than, like 5. But, okay, let's do it like this. You got Casey's Virginia Kayak Bass Challenge, and then you have another series. What's the other one called, James? Some of the guys fish with Casey's event, too, that's out towards your way. Or maybe they're Northern Virginia.
Oh, man.
I can't remember. But
no, I think it is out here.
So they have a series, and I think it would be cool if you had one more series, kind of like the Federation. I know I keep saying the Federation. That's all I know because that's what I used to fish. But you had a northern part of Virginia. You got, I guess you would call this the southwest side of Virginia and the southeast side of Virginia, which would be your side. And let's say, 10 from each organization, each club goes to fish a state regional, and then from that state regional, 5 or 6 go from there and go to, I guess maybe just go to nationals or whatever. You know what I mean? That they go to nationals.
Yeah.
And that way you're getting the best of the best, because the only way that they could get to that regional is they had to qualify through points. But let's say somebody can't make that event, it should. What's that?
It's Virginia Kayak Trail that you were thinking about.
Okay, yeah. Yep, there you go. Set the hook. So, and then that way you got your 6 that go to that, but the guys had to fish and qualify. But let's say the guy can't make it to the qualifying event, it should be rolled down to the next guy. That's how the Federation does it. That's how Bassmasters do it when it comes to the Opens. If a guy is already pre-qualified through the elites, he wins AOI, and the next guy in line isn't, it'll roll down to him. So I think there should be some roll downs to an extent, but not on everything. I think this challenge is no impossible. If they made the state challenge, the month-long events, a points thing, then yes, roll down. But not, if you do it just going by each event and you qualify, no, you can't do it like that because it's never going to work. So that's about all I got to say on that topic. Let's see. I mean, we got a lot of guys listening. I just want to thank everybody so far that has chimed in and has spoke with us and give their input, and just everybody that's listening right now. I really appreciate it. If y'all do hear anything that's kind of out the way, because look, we're just trying this new with getting James on, because if you want to go back and listen to the show, you can go on iTunes tomorrow and listen to the show. So we're actually running 2 different softwares right now. So if there's any issues, just let us know. That way we can work on it. We don't mind a little constructive criticism. So just let us know. All right, so we covered that topic. Let's kind of get off of that. That's just our opinion. Nothing towards Chad, nothing towards the KBF. That's just kind of where I'm looking at would be the right direction on improvement to get the best of the best to the national championship. That's just my opinion. Everybody that's made it so far, congratulations, because I'm going to tell you what, it's hard. I'm struggling this year with fishing in general. So it ain't been easy for me. So congratulations to everybody that's made it so far. All right, I'm going to cover a little base on this because me and James both don't know a lot about it. And if any of you guys listening want to talk a little bit about it and give us some input, it's always great. Tourney X and iCatch. I see everybody posting Tourney X on their forums. Everybody's I see a lot of people upset about it. I checked out iCatch. It seems kind of confusing. It doesn't seem like the page itself works that great. I think it's kind of, I don't know. I know they're doing the Big Bass Brawl in Arkansas. That just sounds cool to say, Big Bass Brawl in Arkansas. But I know they're doing that, and it says iCatch in big letters on the. I actually should have put that up so anybody ain't seen it yet. And I know it says iCatch. A lot of people are talking. This is just what I hear say that iCatch was actually supposed to be for the national championship last year. I'll say Tourney X, and I'm sticking by Tourney X 100% just because I've been using it so long. I know a lot of these other guys have been using it so long, but also Tourney X seems like they've been with the KBF for a really long time. Now, I don't know what the whole deal is with iCatch. I don't know if somebody knows somebody or what. I don't know. I'm not going to comment too much about it. But I just kind of wanted to see what everybody's opinion was on that. I know a lot of people ain't happy. And Chad was showing off the iCatch app at the Open. And it might be a good app. I don't know. I need to actually download it on the phone and play with it a little bit. I just know Tourney X has been really good. I've heard a lot of people saying iCatch it crashes a lot. I can't knock it because I haven't used it. This is just from the forums and what I was reading through last night while I was laying in bed, just kind of going through everything. So I think that format should be tried out a little bit more before they go into anything big. Tourney X has always been kind of the big deal since I've been in, which I've only been in kayak fishing. Well, we've only been in kayak fishing for 2 years. But they got great customer support. When you have any issues, the guy gets right with you. He's a fisherman. And I just think, I don't know, it seems kind of weird just how all of a sudden they pop that up. Especially when Tourney X has been a big supporter of the national championship. And I think it's probably what's going to happen is it could either, I don't know. I don't think it'll hurt the KPF. But then again, I don't know. I don't know a lot about it, so I don't want to go into too much about it. I know it looks like you got to pay monthly for iCatch. You don't have to for Tourney X. Now, when you do fish events through Tourney X, part of the money where you paid for your entry fee, a lot of that's going out to pay for that tournament through Tourney X. And I get that. That's fine. But how is it going to be with iCatch? If I pay $4.99 a month, and then when the tournament rolls up, and are they going to take money out of each tournament as well? Are they going to take money? So let's just say $5. It's $5 an angler for Tourney X, and that's it. Now, if it's going to be $4.99 for a membership through iCatch, and then are they going to take $5 per angler in each event as well, or what? I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. James, I see some people talking about it. What are they saying?
Pretty much, Tourney X costs $5 per angler per tournament. And then in general, I think the competition is good because however, seen a bunch of apps for tournaments. They talking about Dwayne has paid his dues.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be different apps, and there will be more to come, I'm sure, as the kayak stuff keeps growing. And they're going to have some hiccups in the stuff, but I know they said that Chad Hughes, he introduced it last year at Toledo Bend, and I think that's where it didn't work very well. I think what I heard online. But I think they're trying to do it on this other tournament series here again to make sure everything works well. I know a lot of people today were trying to download the app and see where they needed to submit their fish and everything like that. And a couple of people said they were going to try to fish a couple of tournaments with it before actually using it at their big tournament. So
yeah,
we'll just have to see where it goes, really. I don't know enough about it to even have an opinion at this point, I don't think.
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer in competition is good when it comes to different apps. And I mean, it's always going to happen. You're always going to have somebody that sees something that you like or they like, but they think it can be improved, and they come out with something different. It's just the whole same deal with the whole tournament trails and all that. I think there's going to be other trails that's coming out other than the KBF. You know what I mean? Eventually. Chad's done a really good job, though, at building it up to what it is. So I think it's going to be, if someone wants to come out with another trail, they're going to have a lot of shoes to fill to even come close to what the KBF is. But I think competition's good. And, this iCatch could be a good thing. I can't knock it because I've never tried it. But, competition's good. We'll see what happens.
Explorer guy said that Chad said something about next year having it as a no cost to the partner clubs, so it'll be more money paid back at the tournaments, for like your club series tournaments.
Yeah.
So that would be nice because you're paying $5 for every person, just for Tourney X fees.
Yeah.
For each person.
That's true. I mean, if they could work out something like that, that would be good. So if, somehow know that's got to get paid, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. Would it be dues that you would have to pay for?
It might be your KBF dues.
That's true.
that
Dues from your KBF pay that. That's true.
There might be a certain amount that pays it out. I mean, like I said, I don't know enough about it.
Isn't the KBS a competitor for the KBF? I'm not real sure on that. I'm actually going to look that up here in just a little while and see, because I was actually wanting to look up other kayak tournament trails before I got on here and run out of time. Oh, so they're partners. Okay, set the hook saying they're partners. Okay, yeah. So I have to look into that. I'm curious to see if there is any other tournament series. We have had Chad on before. I have thought about getting Chad on towards the end of this year to talk about a lot that's been going on. But right now, Chad's got so much going on in his personal life that I don't want to bother him with that with just that and the business side of everything he's got going on the show and all that. So, but yeah, we will be getting Chad on again. We always love having Chad on. He loves to talk. He's a great guest. So, oh, sorry, I keep kicking the camera. Sorry about that. But so, yeah, we'll definitely get him. We'll definitely get him back on and talk. So, just another quick reminder: we're still working with Dave Lefebre to try to get him on tomorrow. So, guys, it's listening. Make sure you get your questions together if you got anything for him, and because we're going to do it the same way we're doing tonight. I'm going to go back and listen to the show tomorrow to see if there's any bugs we need to work out. But get your questions together, and like I say, James will be monitoring the chat like he's been doing tonight. He's been doing a great job, and trying to get all those questions for Dave Lefebre. So, all right, I got one more topic because I meant to actually discuss this before. James, we didn't go over the MLF and Bass, the news that come out from Bass today, did we?
No, not the stuff that came on from Bass Fan, no.
Yeah, I wanted to go over that. That was actually supposed to be the first thing, and somehow or another jumped right over it. But you read it a little bit more, James. I'm just going to kind of briefly discuss it and then let you kind of go in, just talk a little bit about it, and just kind of just touch base. I know some of you guys are kayak fishermen, but we do both. We cover everything, so it's kind of a big deal. This is big news. Kind of keep an eye out on this because I see what Major League Fishing is doing with going into this circuit and starting a pro series, a qualifying series. I'm looking at seeing, and me and James have both talked about this, I'm looking at seeing FLW, Bass, or now Major League Fishing coming out with a series soon. I see it. Me and you both have talked about it, James. Somebody's going to come out with a series.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be called the Bass Pro Tour is what Bass Fan has it pretty much going as. It's part of the MLF. And so there will be 3 series in 2019. The Bass Pro Tour, which is, quote, the MLF deal, is going to have 80 anglers. The Elite Series is dropping their anglers down to 80, and the FLW is only going to take 150. And I don't think they're doing that in 2019. I thought they were going to do that in 2020, but maybe not.
What, Bass?
I need to look back over it again. No, the FLW.
Okay.
The FLW, but I mean, the FLW used to be the elite of the elite when it came to like their Forest Wood Cup. Well, now they are giving the least amount of money away for their championship. Well, they're right there at the Elite Series. They're a little bit more, to $2,500 more than them, which is hardly nothing on the Elite Series. But the Bass Pro Tour, they're over $200,000 more for their championship payout. So there's big money to be made in the Bass Pro Tour that's going to be coming out. The entry fees seem to be a little bit higher overall for the year. They're going to be about $5,000 more than the Elite Series. And the FLW Tour is coming in at the cheapest at $35,000 to fish the whole year, which is still a ton of money.
Yeah.
But there's only 7 events also. And but the entry fee revenue that they're taking in is a lot more money than the others as well. So there's some big payouts for anglers that are going to be qualified to fish the Elite Series and the Bass Pro Tour. The FLW Series, it's about half of the Elite. It's about $5,000 per angler per event, when the Elite Series is $7,500 on average per person. But the Bass Pro Tour is almost $11,000 per angler per event.
Wow. Yeah, that's. I think they're going to really. They're shaking things up now. You know, bass. It's been going on for a while that the Elite Series has been. You know, you just hear. Listen, Mike Iaconelli show. You hear a lot of it, and kind of. I guess some of the committee guys and all that. It seems like bass's entry fees are going up, but the payouts are getting less. Same thing with FLW, which FLW just threw a whole curveball on a lot of these pros, and was wanting them to pay entry fees. What, by the 1st of October, middle of October, or something like that? They just come off tour, and they ain't even got their sponsorship dollars yet, and they got to pay all this. Yeah, I know some of these guys have got good money, but some of these guys, man, are barely making. They're barely even making $25,000 a year. It's still a job I would love to have. I mean, $25,000 a year, it might suck, but you're fishing for professionally, But there's still a lot of stress on these guys. So, but anyways, they're making them pay up front because they're cutting their field down. So I think Major League Fishing coming in with the Pro Bass Tour is the right step in the right direction for when it comes to competition. And I like their format better anyways, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I loved riding around bass. I love going to the Classic, and covering that. It's always fun. We always have a good time. And all of them guys, most of them are pretty good guys. But I love the format of what Major League Fishing does and what the Pro Bass Tour is going to be, because now it's a guy that can find as many fish as he can. It's not a guy that's going out and just finding a whole big school of big fish, Granted, I don't know what the practice is going to be like. I don't know how they're going to do all that. But I think it would be cool if it was no practice time and they had 2 or 3 days to go out and get the job done. That is their practice time. Fishing a tournament is their practice time. I think that would be pretty cool, And you kind of start seeing how these guys break it down, just like they do in Major League Fishing. So, just really excited to see how all this is going to come down and what's going to happen for next year. And hopefully maybe we can make it to a couple of these events and cover them and see where it goes from there. So, but anyways.
Yeah, they might not even have the events open.
Yeah.
They might not tell anybody where the events are going to be. It might just be just like it is now, I mean,
it's just going to be mainly TV
you
coverage.
Get lucky.
Yeah. That's going to be the big thing, though, is how they're going to do the TV coverage with it, because they're going to have it. And how many cameramen are they going to have? Are they going to start seeing who's putting fish on the board first and then just start covering them? It's a lot of what ifs in it, how they're going to do it, and I'm sure they'll get it right. But just kind of excited to see how that's going to run down. And like I say, you might be right. We might not be able to even get there to do anything with it. But the only time will tell on that. But other than that, James, you got anything else you want to cover? We've kind of been on this show for right at an hour now. These shows are only supposed to be 30 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we should have known better. We can talk more than 30 minutes.
I know it. We talk more than 30 minutes on a regular phone call.
Yeah, but I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And, I mean, it's been a great show. Like I said, this is the first one we've done like this ever.
Yeah.
We've done some before with doing both things on YouTube Live and doing this, but it's been a long time. We didn't have the setup to do this, so hopefully it's just going to get better and better.
Exactly.
And we're going to have Dave Lefebre on tomorrow night if everything works out, like we hope. And
yeah, we'll have him on tomorrow.
To you,
hopefully, and have another great show lined up for you guys. I just want to kind of tell everybody, please go visit our sponsors. They've been a great asset to us. They've helped us out a lot. They help us out with our giveaways. You know, guys that have been part of our giveaways, it's all because of them. They've given us stuff to give away to you guys. And we're in the works right now of trying to get our Christmas time giveaway. We're going to try to do it big this year. We'll try to have James here in studio with us. Hopefully I'll have my studio actually looking different. You got a white wall with a picture of Smith Mountain Lake behind me from an elite event when they came. The Yamaha sign, you know, that's it. I want to have something bigger and different than what we got. So that's in the works. But go check out our sponsors, Falcon, Bonafide, Yak Attack, Accu, Cull, Rageous, Missile Baits. We also have some side sponsors that help out with, you know, getting us going on the water with Power Pole and Ray Marine. James, get me if I'm forgetting anybody else, but they've all been big time help to helping us be on the water, catching fish, and doing their show and giveaways. So, yep, same time tomorrow, Steve. We're going to, like I said, hopefully have Dave Lefebre on. This says, hold on, let's get one more question here. What do all you think about a high-stakes kayak tournament series like 250 entry, 8 events a year? I think that's a good start, but that's going to have to be more of your tour series. You're going to have good sponsors or your open series. That could be your open series and have it on several different lakes, you know, but you got to pick a region so it ain't, you know, we could talk about that all night like we did today. But yeah, I think you're on a good path there. I want to thank everybody that's complimented us on the show tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you all guys for listening. Thanks for all the comments and the input on everything. Please, guys, share this show if you don't mind, and please subscribe to our channel. That way, James, you got a new video you're going to come out with. When are you putting that out?
It should be Thursday.
Okay. And that's going to be about picking the proper net, right?
Yep, picking the proper net for the proper situation. See if you don't get tongue-tied saying that 10 times fast.
That's why I let you take care of that one. So we'll have that video coming up, and then, like I say, this is going to be every Tuesday night deal. And then we'll try to get a pro on through the weeks on a separate night. I mean, maybe work out on Tuesday nights, but maybe on separate nights. So other than that, that's all I got to talk about. I will have Yak light that I've been testing out. I'm going to be showing you guys that next week. Also, our kill guard that we've been putting out. A lot of people have been buying. I think everybody's bought that so far. We're going to be talking about that a little bit. The do's and the don'ts. We've seen several people doing the don'ts. So we'll be having that and talking about that. So far, it's worked great on me and James's. I know some people's had some issues, and we want to talk about that. We're going to discuss why people are having issues. So, and then other than that, we're going to probably try to go into, I wanted to go back into drop shot fishing, shaky head fishing, and when to use each technique. I wanted to do that tonight, but I knew this was going to go a whole lot longer. So stay tuned for that, guys. Like I say, share it with your friends. Please subscribe, and we will talk to you guys later. See ya.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye.